right before the sale begins. Right before the sale begins. So this is gonna be a quick video, but this is worth sharing because I think it's important. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen these videos or if you're familiar with this, but Tony Robbins, who's considered like the top life coach guy in the world, right before he goes on stage, he has this little trampoline and he like jumps up and down on the trampoline a bunch of times, and then he goes out there and he's in his peak state and he's got a ton of energy and he can sort of go right into attack mode and do a great job in his presentation and what he's doing. And again, I think we talked about this earlier in this training, but the way that we're moving our body physically has a major impact on the way that we're thinking and the way that we're feeling and the way we show up in the world. And so that's something that we can kind of use to our advantage to quickly get ourselves to where we need to be, our state where we need to be, is to think about a change in our physiology, right? A change in the way we're moving. And so I had my own little way of doing this. So when I could see the prospects coming in, right? Maybe they parked. You can usually see when the person parks, is I would sort of like jump up and down like a handful of times, right? And not, way up into the air, but just sort of like this. And I would sort of like, shake out my arms and, just so I could feel kind of blood flowing in my body. And I would like stand up straight and have like a big like smile on my face, right? Good strong posture, looking forward. And I would sort of hold that, for a minute until I could see the people were about to come in. And so physically I was ready, right? Physically I had enough energy in my body that I was now ready. Physically I was now ready. Mentally I was ready. Like I'd walked through everything with visualization. So I was like 1,000% ready for that person to walk in the door. Now, sometimes the person is just not a prospect. Sometimes they literally don't have any money and none of their family and none of their friends have any money and there's nothing you can do, right? So it's not like I just sold every person that walked in, because, a lot of times that's not possible. But I was ready. I was ready and I wasn't gonna leave anything on the table, and I was making very sure of that. So short video, but think of a way. You could either literally do what I did, or you could do some of your own little version of what I did. I think some people, maybe they have like their little piece of gum and they put their gum in their mouth and then they go, or their little Altoid or mints, and then they go and they have their sort of little routine that they always do that. So you may have your own little routine like that sort of like clicks you in. But I would recommend having something like that. I would recommend having something that you do right before the person comes in that sort of brings you into the place of like, okay, now it's time to go. So that's what I did. I would sort of just, like I said, get some blood moving in my body. And that was very helpful for me, because I felt like no matter what that person was gonna be like, whether they're negative, positive, aggressive, confrontational, whatever they were gonna be like, I was going to have the amount of energy to handle it and to guide them and to make the things happen I need to make happen for the sale to keep moving forward, and hopefully for the sale to happen. So right before the sale, have something that you do. That's something that I did. I think it made a big difference. I was never, a lot of salespeople, the person comes in and, their back is sort of to them and they're like, oh, hi, how's it going? And they kind of like walk out like this, and, their posture is bad and they're like, oh, what brings you in today? And it's like painful to watch, right? So I'm not saying I went out there like, like a bouncing bunny rabbit or anything like that. I'm just saying that I was so ready. I had so much energy. There's this is an important note. There's something Jordan Belfort, The Wolf of Wall Street, he talks about. I think he explains this well. The idea of constrained enthusiasm, right? So you're not jumping up and down when you meet that person like an idiot. It's constrained enthusiasm. So he explains it, I think, almost like a kettle or like teapot or pot of water that's boiling, where it's like it's not quite coming over the top, but it's there. So you're kind of like that, where you have almost like, you see how I'm talking right now, where it's like I have a constrained enthusiasm, where there's some power in my voice and I'm speaking, but I'm not like, oh, power in my voice, I'm not going all crazy, but you can hear that there's sort of energy in me. And so that's sort of where you want to be. And if you can do something before the person comes in to get yourself there, it's going to be a lot more likely that those first couple moments go well. And those first couple moments of meeting the person have such an enormous impact on how that entire thing is going to go. Like if you mess up those first couple moments, it's extremely difficult to make it happen if those first couple moments don't go the way they need to go. And this is something that can help you to ensure that those moments do go that way. So that's what I did. It was helpful for me. Think constrained enthusiasm. Think of what is it that I can do so that I'm really ready to kind of click myself into place. Again, maybe use what I did, maybe use something different, but wanted to share that. And so now I know you've been waiting for this. We're going to get in the actual sale itself.